He calls, he texts, he spends time with you. But does that mean he is actually serious about building a relationship with you? Let's talk about it. Tonight, we're talking about the difference between attention and intention, the signs of genuine pursuit, and the behaviors that may reveal he's just playing games. Welcome to Live, Love, and Marry Wizerr. I am your host, Lorraine Edwards. We have seen so many relationships go over the edge that we've committed our voices to building better fences at the cliff, so we need fewer ambulances in the valley. With me today to bring some fence building wisdom is not my co host, Onita Price Hall, but is my friend and a regular popular guest of this podcast, Pastor Frank E. Legette. My friend Onita is not here today. She might be out for a couple of weeks, but we are looking forward to her return. Let us bring him on. Hi, Pastor Legette. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good. How you doing, Lorraine?
I'm doing great. Thank you. Always a pleasure. It's been too long since we had you on here.
I was really starting to feel some kind of way. I was going to have a Zoom meeting with you and Onita and just say, what's the problem here?
What is going on
What
with
have
y'all?
I
What is
done
going on?
to you people that I've been ignored for all of these months? I'm really hurt, Lorraine. I don't know if I can recover from this.
Well, I hope that this will just be the start of many more times in the future, more consistently having you on. As many of you know who have been watching us, particularly in season 9, we changed our format. So we record the first 3 Tuesdays of the month, and we do that early in the morning. And then we go live only on the 4th. So sometimes that schedule is not as convenient, though. Pastor Legette is a little bit more flexible, so we're happy to have him here. Today, we are talking about, I think, a pretty serious topic. We always try to have fun when we talk together, but we're talking about the difference between attention and intention. As I said, the signs of genuine pursuit and the behaviors that may reveal that he's just playing games. And a lot of women, particularly as you get older, are trying to figure out, he seems serious. I hope he's serious. I want him to be serious. But is he really serious about me, or is he just playing games? So, Pastor Legette, I have some questions for you, but I just want to kind of get an overview of your thoughts about this topic, especially, is it the same now as it was when maybe you were younger and dating and men, or is there really nothing new under the sun as it relates to trying to answer this question?
No, it is vastly different. It is vastly different. There was a process that we went through as young men. And I'm not quite sure where we got it from. Or I speak for myself. I'm not quite sure where I got it from, other than because I certainly didn't get it from my dad, because my dad never had a conversation with me about anything. Although I loved him dearly, and I grew up with him in the house. I think it came from the fact that guys talk, right? And we're growing up, we start liking girls, we start pursuing girls, and we are talking. That's why females have to be very, 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 very careful. Because we talk about you. We absolutely do. If we're getting it, if we're hitting it, whatever the nomenclature you want to use, we are telling our boys about that
Mm.
because
Okay.
sex is a rite of passage for a young man.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And so I just think that being immersed in that culture, and watching other brothers and the other guys and our friends do stuff, we listen to them, and we just inculcate stuff into our own process. But
Mm-hmm.
we were all doing the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and back in the day, we were straightforward. There was a 7-step process that I learned, and my
Okay.
boys were doing it too, right?
Were y'all talking about it, or were you just doing it? And then as you became a coach and started really thinking those things through, you're just like, you know what? I really do have a process.
No, I backed into it once I was older, and I just began to look at my process,
Mm-hmm.
and I identified. I went through the process of the women that I dated or married, and I looked at how I functioned, and I identified. Okay, I did this, I did that, I did this. Okay, I did that. I definitely did this, and then I did that, and then I did that. I said, "Oh my gosh!" And when I looked at all of these women, it is consistent to this very day
Mm.
to what I did with Perla. Everything that I did with her is what I was doing when I was a teenager.
Okay.
And I
Let me
just
stop you. Let me
learned it.
ask you something. So I introduced you as a regular, guest and a friend and all that. But there are people who have never met you before. This might be the first time they're watching this part. They might not have ever met me before.
Right.
So can you give us the 30,000-foot view of who you are, your kind of your relationship history, and even your relationship coaching, so that we have context for those who might not know you.
Um, this is a story that your regulars have heard a gazillion times, but I think it's apropos here just to give people a sense of what I do and how I came to this space of being
Mm-hmm.
a relationship coach for single women and married women.
Mm-hmm.
So I was home alone 21 years ago. My wife was at work. I just finished breakfast, and I was about to go upstairs and get on the computer and do some work. And in the kitchen, there was a thing that nobody has today, was a wall phone, and it had like a 25-foot cord on it, and you could go to the refrigerator, and be at the stove, at the kitchen table.
You believe I just saw one yesterday?
You stop it.
I promise you, I went to
Not
get
on
my hair.
somebody's wall.
Yes, I went to get my hair done, and in the shop, they had one of those long ones, the same ones on the wall. I was just like, that is hilarious.
And so I'm getting ready to go past that wall where the phone is and make the right turn to go to the hallway and upstairs. And the Holy Ghost said to me, call Keisha. I stopped and I looked at the phone. And now we get those voices all the time, right? The
Uh-huh.
Holy Ghost is talking to us all throughout the day. Problem is, most time we ignore those voices.
Yes.
I don't know what it was. I don't know. I won't know till I get to the kingdom and I ask the Lord, why did I obey that time?
Mm-hmm.
But it was so clear and it was so unmistakable. And the phone was right there in my face. So I picked up the phone and I called her. And she answered the phone. She said, hello. And I was under the ceiling fan. And I looked up to heaven because I knew the rain, that hello was pregnant with pain. I knew what it was. Now, if somebody had in the family that was near and dear to us or near and dear to her, even if I didn't know the person, she would have said that.
Mm-hmm.
She would have said it. She didn't
Yeah.
say a word.
Mm-hmm.
Instantly, I knew it was a man. I knew it was a man. We never had a conversation. She said, hello. And I stopped and I said, and before I get to that point, I said, I'm looking up at the ceiling and I'm really looking up at God.
Mm-hmm.
I'm saying, Lord, not my daughter's having this kind of pain because of a man. Not my daughter.
Mm-hmm.
And when I recovered from that, I said, when you get sick and tired of being sick and tired, call me. Call me. I'll fix this for you. She said, okay. We hung up the phone. Never had a conversation about it. 6 months went by. Phone rings. Pop, I'm ready. I said, you ready? She said, yes. I said, hold your hand out, palm up. She said, what? I could feel the frown on her face. What? I said, hold your hand out so you can see the white part of your hand. I said, because if you do what I tell you to do, when I tell you to do it, how I tell you, and why I tell you to do it, I'm going to have that nigga right there in the palm of your hand. She said, get out of here. I said, you know what? It's okay if you don't believe me. It's okay if you don't believe me. But if you do what I tell you to do, when I tell you to do it, how and why I tell you to do it, I'm going to have him right there.
Mm-hmm.
So I taught her one technique. It was the one and only technique I had at that time. It was the only one I had. I had used it before, but now it's with my family, my flesh and blood.
Mm-hmm.
I taught her the technique. I call it, oh my gosh, Lorraine. I call it the nutcracker technique.
Uh-huh.
Now, here's what all the ladies need to know. If you're in a relationship and the relationship is valuable to you, you want to save it. If there's anything that can resurrect a dead or dying relationship, this can, this will, this have. I've seen miraculous stuff happen when I've taught this to my clients. I mean, not in months, not in weeks, not in days, but in minutes at times. I taught her that technique. And I taught her the psychology of why it works. She hung up the phone. She called him. She did the technique. She hung up the phone. And then 20 minutes, homeboy, she broke up with him. He knocking on her door. What do you mean it's over? She said exactly what I said. It's over. And then she called me and she screamed in my ear, Pop, it works. And I went like this. Because I told her, when you call me and tell me it works, I said, I can't promise you that I won't say, I can't promise you that, I won't say I told you, but I can promise you that I will try not to say I told you. And when she screamed in my ear, I went, I told you it was going to work.
And you still failed to tell her.
Yeah.
Had to tell her.
I couldn't
resist.
If I didn't tell her I was going to bust, and I certainly wasn't going to bust, as my Uncle Richard Mason would say. So I started working with her after that. We started working at least once a week. And I began to share with her. And look, I want to tell you that the Bible is absolutely true. The Bible said it is more blessed to give than to receive, because when you do, it comes back to you. The blessings come back to you, pressed down, shaken together, and running over. And the more I worked with her, the more techniques I began to discover. Right? And so a couple of weeks in, she says to me, Pop, you need to write a book, because none of my girlfriends, because I'm sharing with them, what you're sharing with me, none of my girlfriends know any of this stuff. You need to
Mhm.
write a book for women. And I said, really? And I started writing. And so now I've written a book. I don't even have the book in front of me that I can show you. Um, book is
I'll
entitled,
add it to the slide.
okay, the book is
Yeah.
entitled The Art of Womanhood. And the subtitle is, I think, the most important part of the title. The subtitle is Teaching Your Man to Love You the Way You Want to Be Loved. And here's the special part, without him knowing he's being taught.
Mm.
Okay. And so I began to work with her. And then I moved to Florida, Central Florida, moved to Winter Park. I went to Full Sail University, got my degree in film production. And while I was attending Patmos Chapel,
Mhm.
um, a friend came over to the house one day to see one of my other daughters, and who had been hospitalized. And so Esther comes by the house, and so Sharma says to Esther, Sharma, no, Esther, you need to know what he's teaching, what he teaches women. And Esther's head snapped around. Talk to me. And I gave her the 30,000-foot view. She said, "Oh my gosh." She said, "If I get some women, would you work with us?" I said, "Yes." She said, "How many do you need?" I said, "At least 10." Very next Sabbath, 10 women came through my door.
I love it.
And my coaching ministry began at Patmos Chapel, Seventh day Adventist Church in Winter Park, Florida.
I,
And
I,
single and married women.
mhm.
And I've been doing it ever since. So this is my life's passion. And I'm about to retire. My last Sabbath as a full-time Seventh-day Adventist pastor is August 1st. And I'm relocating back to Florida.
Mhm.
And I'm going to be able to devote full-time to this ministry. But I
Well,
work with more single women,
mhm.
married women, but I also work with married women to teach them. Here's what I teach: to teach married women how to get their husbands to love them the way they want to be loved and not the way that he wants to love them.
Mhm.
The majority of married women on this planet do not know how to accomplish that. And that's what I teach. So that's how I got here.
I love it. I mean, I love that story. I have heard it a lot,
A
and
million times, a million
I
times.
enjoy it every single time because I just think it's so important. So I'm fast forwarding back to where I stopped you, where you were talking about those 7 steps and how you kind of like reverse engineered those steps. Do you want me to ask you a question, or do you want to share the steps, or how would you like to kind of unfold that? Because I do have some questions for you.
Well, um, here's what I want to do. Here's what I want to do. I'm of the opinion that people value information the more they work for it. If you give people stuff, it's not nearly as valuable as if they have to put some effort forward. So, what I want you to do, I want you to put up my email address, because I want people to email me, and I will forward them the email address. Because if you go through that effort, it means you really want it. Okay.
Uh-huh.
But I am going to share a couple with. I'm not going to share all 7, but I am going to share a couple. So the email address is the Women's Empowerment HQ at gmail.com. Repeat, the Women's Empowerment HQ at gmail.com.
Okay. Hold on
So
a second. All right. So I'm going to put it on the screen here, the
here it is.
Women's Empowerment HQ at gmail.com. But I'm also going to put it on a slide, ladies, and maybe even scan a code so that you can reach out to, and we'll have some other information from Pastor Legette. I'll even put up a picture of his book so that you can access that later. But I just wanted to put that here if you just wanted to write it down the old fashioned way. All right, go ahead.
So I think what I want to do before I get into a few of the seven, okay? I got to take you around Abraham's barn first.
Okay.
All right. I got to take you around Abraham's barn. Back in the day,
Mm-hmm.
we did these things. It was a natural part of our process. We were the pursuers. No ifs, no ands, no buts. Women, young women, were the pursued.
Mm-hmm.
And then a phenomenon happened in America. And the phenomenon was the women's liberation movement. And women were tired of being put in a straitjacket by men, because that's what they did. That's what our fathers and grandfathers and great grandfathers did. They didn't value women. I think, motherhood and being a stay-at-home mom is the noblest profession on planet Earth, and whatever is number two is the distant second. There's nothing that is more important than that, and men did not value that, and so women didn't feel valued.
And many still don't. Many still don't.
Yeah, absolutely, and many still don't. Many still do not. And so in the 60s, you had these women who got tired of being devalued and not respected, and they banded together, and now was created a national organization of women. And these women came together and they said, we're throwing off all the restraints that men has placed on us. They literally took their bras off, right? They protest. Look, we're going free. Forget all of this stuff. They took their bras off.
That was a happy day for you, right?
Oh my God. Because I am a boob man. They threw them in barrels and they burned them to demonstrate we're throwing off all of these shackles and restraints that you guys have arbitrarily placed on us. And the mindset that they came up with was, whatever a man can do, we can do, if not better. And so these older women began to teach younger women, you don't have to wait for a man to pursue you. If you see him and you like him, go after him. And the game has changed. Yeah. And so now, let me tell you what the problem with that philosophy is. I was taught by a very wise expert in the field of family relationships and marriage and all this kind of stuff. A very wise person said to me that there are two major times in a woman's life, two defining moments in a woman's life: 30th year birthday and the 40th year birthday. Here's what happens. When a woman by the time she reaches 30 years of age, she does an inventory of her life. Even if you don't realize that that's what you're doing, most women are doing it, right? Because girls and guys grow up differently, right? You all grow up playing house, playing with dolls, being mommies at a very early age, because you see your mom doing those kinds of things.
Most of us. I was playing football and basketball.
Oh, okay.
But my sister was doing that other stuff, so I had to ask.
You're not the norm.
I am not, but in general, yes.
Yeah, typical. The typical young woman grows up with those.
Especially when I was growing up, playing sports as a girl was really not looked very fondly upon.
Right.
Back then. It's been a while.
Changed. So it has changed. It's evolved over time. But back in the day, that's what the typical girls were doing. And so many females grow up with the concept and with the vision and the dream that by the time I reach at least 30, by the time I get to my 30s, I should have completed college. I should have married a drop dead gorgeous man and had 2, 3, or 4 gorgeous children that look just like her, just like me, just like her. And I'd be into my career. Whole 9 yards. And they have these relational aspirations.
Mm-hmm.
And when she gets there, 30, she takes an inventory. If she is nowhere close to that vision and that dream, anxiety begins to set in, frustration begins to set in, and the further she goes into her 30s, the closer she gets to 35. I don't know what it is about 35, but the closer a woman gets to 35, the greater the desperation begins to set in. Yeah. And so what begins to happen is, even if it's a woman who's grown up very traditional with the mindset that, okay, I'm a woman, so I need to sit a certain way, I need to keep my dress down, make sure I'm proper, I'm whole 9 yards, I need to do all the things that my mama and my aunties and my grandmom and society has taught me to do. When you get to 30 and none of that's on the horizon, many women are saying, "The heck with all of that. I'm a man. I'm doing whatever the heck I got to do. I'll deal with all that other stuff later. I'm doing what I got to do." Okay?
Yeah.
And so many women are just throwing off the things that they were taught to do, and they make a left turn. But here's what I want everybody to know. So how do you know if a guy is serious about you or not? Here's what I want to say to you. There are 3 words for love in the New Testament. 3 of them. Agape, philos, and eros. Agape is the highest form of love from one being to another. Okay? Philos is the first part, is the word for lover. It's the first part of the word Philadelphia. Philadelphia is a compound Greek word. Philos, adelphos. Philos, lover. Adelphos, brother. Philadelphia means brotherly love or lover of your brother. The third word is eros. It's from the word we get it from that word eros. We get our word erotic, which is sexual love, erotic love. Okay. Well, let me go back to agape, the highest form of love from one person to another. Now, agape is the noun form. Agape represents the ultimate love that a person can have for another, but it's talking about what you feel, how you feel about another individual, whether how you feel about God or about how God feels about you. That's the noun form. I want to talk to you about the verb form.
Okay.
The verb form is agapao. The noun form is agape, but the verb form is agapao.
Oh, okay.
Agapao is not about what you feel for somebody. Agapao has to do with what you do for somebody, how you demonstrate that love. It's not how you think about them, how you feel about them. It's what you do to demonstrate your love for them. So John 3:16, which is the text that all Christians all over the globe knows. For God so loved the world. The text does not say, for God so agaped the world, that he gave his only love. He gave his only begotten son. It doesn't say that. It says, for God so agapao the world that he gave his only begotten son, and that Christ, because his love was identical to the Father's love for us, he left heaven to come to earth to demonstrate how much he loves us. If it was just that he agape us, he could have stayed in heaven and done that. Oh, hey guys, I love y'all. Oh man. Oh man. I love y'all dearly. But because you've broken my law, all y'all going to hell. That's not what the text says.
This is good. I never heard this before. I've always heard people basically say those are the same thing. They may just pronounce it differently. But the truth of this is good. See, that's why we have you on here.
Yeah. For God so agapaoed the world that he demonstrated he could not stay in heaven and demonstrate to mankind his great love for us. He had to leave. He had to first get permission from the Father. And let me share this with you. This is deep. This is deep. This comes from Patriarchs and Prophets, and everybody ought to read it.
You just preaching now.
Yeah, I am. You got me on my hobby horse. So Adam and Eve sinned. When Adam and Eve sinned, there was a meeting called in heaven of members of the Godhead, Father, Son, Holy Ghost, only the three of them. In that meeting, and I wasn't even prepared to talk to you about it, so I couldn't even put it up, but you might want to put it up. I'll give it to you, Rain. You might want to put it up. Here's what happened. They go into the meeting, and Christ, and the question, so Christ goes in, and Christ petitions to go and die for mankind. And White says in Patriarchs and Prophets, it was not an easy thing for the Father permit, because he knew what Christ was, how he was going to have to suffer. It was not an automatic decision. But Christ would not take no for an answer. He had a death wish for us. He wouldn't take no for an answer. That's deep, man. Yeah. Woo. And
y'all stay with us. We are still talking about.
Yeah, we are. So now, follow me.
We're going deep on it, though. We're not giving you those regular podcast answers. We going deep.
Yeah. Follow me to Ephesians 5. Ephesians 5 for me is the blueprint for marital and relational happiness. Okay? Because the text is real clear. And here's what the Apostle Paul says. And he elevates Christ as the example. He said, and I want to go to, because I think I want to see if I can. I want to be able to read it, and I almost wish we could put this up on the screen, and I don't know if that's possible right now.
Go.
So Ephesians 5:25. We're gonna start there. We have time. I'll transition to verse 23. So here's what the Apostle Paul is doing. He is talking to the church in Philippi. He's telling the saints. He's talking to the men predominantly. And he's using Christ as the example. He said, husbands, agapao your wives, just as Christ also agapaoed his wife and gave himself for her. There are two things in this text that Christ did, that Paul says that every husband ought to do for his wife. Number one, you ought to agapao her and not just agape her, because you can agape her and say, baby, I love you, and then never go to work. And she's going to work every day, and you got your butt laying up in the bed all day. Not working. You can agape her, and then birthday comes, anniversary comes, and all these special dates come. There's no flower, there's no cards, there's no gifts, there's nothing from you to demonstrate word that's coming out of your mouth. He didn't say that Christ agape. He didn't say that Christ had a warm and fuzzy feeling about his wife, the church. He said Christ love your agapao, your wife, and demonstrate your love to your wife. Because Christ was both the lover and the giver. Here's the problem. Most relationships and marriages, the reason why the divorce rate is so high, most relationships are backwards. The wife is doing the loving and the giving. It's a violation of scripture.
And that starts
in the dating process.
Back at the beginning.
It starts right in the very beginning.
And it ties back to what you said, because you didn't close that thought. You said one reason that women should not be pursuing is, and it brings us back to here.
Absolutely. So the church did not, and what Paul is saying is that the church did not pursue Christ's wife, the church did not pursue Christ. The church did not love Christ. The church did not give to Christ. The church did not demonstrate to Christ their love for him. He did that to her. All right?
Well, that's good.
The word.
And so, ladies, pay attention. This is not anti-feminist. This is not women can't do. This is saying it's out of order when we are comparing real love to the love that Christ has for the church, which the Bible does, not just in Ephesians, but throughout the scriptures. That relationship between God and the church is equated to a husband and wife, which obviously starts with that dating process. So one reason is because it's out of order, but what happens, Pastor Legette, when it is out of order? Because you've already hinted at that, but there's a consequence that women don't foresee when they do the pursuing and not the being pursued.
So now, both of you are not going to be men in the relationship. Because here's what happens. When a woman assumes the role that God requires men to fulfill in the relationship, and there are 9 roles we are required by Christ to fulfill in Scripture. They're all in Scripture. 9 of them. When you assume those roles, you change roles with your man, whether your boyfriend or your husband. When you switch roles with him, you become the man in the relationship. When you become the man in the relationship and switch roles with him, he simultaneously switches roles with you. When you become the man, he automatically becomes the woman. And your roles are reversed. And so you become the lover, you become the giver, you become the pursuer, you become the cherisher, you become the sacrificer. He becomes the pursued, the cherished, the loved, the sacrificed for. He lays back in the cut.
Let me tell you a story. I told you I'm on these Facebook groups, for single Christians or whatever. And this woman wrote a post asking a question. Here's the question. Here's the scenario. She was talking to this guy. It was going well. Maybe not a long time, but maybe a few weeks or so. It was going well. They lived different places. They wanted to meet. He says to her, I know my worth And so he wants her to drive from her house to him where he lives to come visit. This first time they've ever met in person. She's just like, I mean, can we meet in the middle? Like, he's like, nope, because I know my worth and I know my value, and you need to come to me. So he was trying to be the woman before she even ever put him in the position, because someone else has told him. It doesn't mean you're not valuable, but the man, but besides for safety reasons, any real man is going to be like, I'm going to come where you live. Most men are not going to even have you meet halfway. They're going to come to you on your territory where you're safe, but she was willing. And so, like, this is a real thing with men talking about, I'm the prize and I'm the this or whatever. So yeah, you talking good.
Another story, and I'm forgetting her name. Please forgive me, but everybody knows her. She's the best female gymnast America has ever seen. I'm forgetting
Biles.
Simone
Biles.
Biles.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm forgetting how she meets this guy. He plays for the Green Bay Packers.
Mm-hmm.
Right? He's not a star. He's not a star, but he's on the team. Okay?
Yeah.
And she reaches out to him, and she wants to, meet him.
Mm-hmm.
She had to get in her car and drive several hours to go see him. And then they interviewed him. And he said, I'm the prize. I'm the prize. And ladies, here's what I want you to know. When you make those mistakes, when you switch roles with your man and you start doing the loving, the giving, the pleasing, the sacrificing, and the cherishing, when you start it, he will expect it and won't ever want you to stop it, because he will have switched roles with you because he gets comfortable. And let me tell you, for me, a tragic story. My first wife, Beverly, would say to me, especially on Friday nights, my kids were real young. We put them to bed. Friday night was our night. She would look in my eyes and say, I want to spoil you. I want to pamper you. I would look up to heaven. I'd say, oh my gosh, I have a rock. Oh my gosh. And I concluded that the least I could do is permit her to love me the way she wanted to love me. And the least I could do is allow her. And we switched roles. And we got down the road. And girlfriend got tired of being the man in the relationship. And she came home one day, September 2nd, 1984. I'll never forget that day as long as I live. Got in bed, and she said, I don't love you. I don't love you. And I don't think I want to spend the rest of my life with you. And my marriage was over. She left my house in the next couple of months, and she moved in with him and never came back. Okay? My marriage was over. I was devastated. So, scripture's real clear. You've got to require a man to do a man. You've got to require a man to do those 9 things. Okay? Because if you don't,
ladies, you can find out those 9 things by joining his community. I went through his program, so I'm not just talking to be talking. I did. He is my coach. I went through his program. It was fantastic, and I recommend it to every single woman.
So now, all right, let's circle back. My steps, my process, right?
Uh-huh. We went all the way around Robin Hood's barn. Okay.
See her, like her, pursue her. Because if I'm not pursuing you, I'm not serious.
Mm-hmm.
All right. If I'm not pursuing you, then I'm not in harmony with God's blueprint for marital and relational happiness. So when I called Pearl on May 5, 2023, we talked on the phone. She wouldn't even call me. I had to call her. Why? Because she made me do what scripture says I need to do as a man. I needed to be the pursuer. She wouldn't even call me.
Mm-hmm.
I had to call her for weeks.
I'm with it.
And then we got to the point where I'm ready to go for a visit. 2.5 hours from Reading, Pennsylvania to Lodi, New Jersey. 2.5 hours one way. And I started going up. I rearranged my schedule. I'd go up every Monday. 2.5 hours up, 2.5 hours back. And then I got to the point, I said to her, you know what? One day a week is not enough for me. I want more. I want to spend more time with you. Monday, I rearranged my schedules. Monday and Friday, 2.5 hours up, 2.5 hours, 2.5 hours back. Monday, Friday, 2.5 hours up, 2.5 hours back. And then some Sundays, right? Because when I see you and I like you, I'm going to pursue you because my objective is I need to demonstrate to you that I'm serious. Mm-hmm. You will know that a man is serious when he is the pursuer. How can he pursue you? He needs to be calling you on the phone. When it's inappropriate for him to call you because he can't pick up the phone and call, or you can't receive a call because of what you're involved in at the moment, then he needs to be texting you. He needs to be letting you know, hey, I wish I could call, but I can't. But I want you to know I'm thinking about you. Mm-hmm. Okay. He needs to be calling you. He needs to be texting you. He needs to be coming to see you. He needs to be sending cards and flowers. He needs to agapao you and not just agape you. If it's merely coming out of his mouth how he feels for you, but it is not backed up by concrete evidence. If you talk to Perla today, and I ask her all the time, she said, oh my gosh, we're back here. You've asked me that question 1,000,000 times. And I would ask her, why me? I'm not Haitian. Why me? I'm not Haitian. You're Haitian. Why me? She said, I knew without a shadow of a doubt that you loved me and you wanted to be with me. Mm. And she broke up with me twice.
Because she wasn't that sure.
Yeah.
She was sure about you, but she wasn't sure about her.
She broke up with me twice. Mm-hmm. And I was determined.
And you hunted her down.
I absolutely did. I'm glad she didn't call the police and say I was stalking her, because it's where I wanted to be. And I know I needed to demonstrate that. So if it's just coming out of his mouth, if you don't see it and feel it with every fiber in your being, he's not serious.
No, that's good. That's good. Because I was going to ask you a question that really that answers. It's like women are often told if a man is serious, you'll know. Is it really that simple? Can a man be genuinely interested and still move slowly, or does prolonged ambiguity usually indicate a lack of intention? But what you're saying is, if he's serious, you really will know, because Absolutely. He will be dogged in his pursuits, not stalkish, but dogged in his pursuits and very clear about his intentions.
And so, let me say, I've never shared this publicly.
Oh, wow.
I've never shared this publicly.
Okay.
She broke up with me the first time. And I got in my car and I drove up to Lodi. I'm making my case and I'm about to leave and go home. And I'm thinking this may be the last shot I get, so I got to shoot my shot.
Uh-huh.
And I hugged her and I cried in her arms.
Mm.
I cried in her arms. Because this is 2 months later after we started. This is July, maybe early part of August. We're 3 months in. I knew I wanted to spend the rest of my life with her,
Mm.
and it was in jeopardy. I cried in her arms. And we got back together that next. That was a Sunday. We were back together that Friday. But she broke up with me again.
I know. I'm like, what in the world?
So second time we break up. So we fly. We're both going to Florida. She's going to Central Florida. I'm going to South Florida.
Uh-huh.
I'm going to South Florida. And so this is the difference between agape and agapao. I'm in South Florida. My kids are doing a birthday party for me that Sunday. Mm-hmm. That Monday, I drove 4 hours up to Mount Dora. I drove 4 hours, took her out to breakfast. I'm making my appeal. I'm explaining what happened, what she thought, and I'm trying to correct stuff. And by the time I left there, I'm back in the saddle. And I drove 4 hours back home. We've been together ever since.
I love that.
Okay? And so it's the difference between agape, which is mouth, mm-hmm. and agapao, which is doing. There's mm-hmm. a difference. When he's serious, he's coming after you. And there's no mountain. So here's what I literally tell my single daughters. And here's what I teach to all of my clients, like yourself and others. When a man loves you, when he thinks you're the one, I teach you all that, there's no mountain he won't climb. There's no ocean that he won't swim. There's no hurdle he won't jump. There's no obstacle that he will not overcome, because a life partner is the second most important decision he'll ever make in his life. And the single most important decision he'll ever make in his life is making Christ his Lord and Savior. Mm-hmm. After that, it's a life partner. And mm-hmm. so when he perceives that you are the one, there's no mountain, I don't care how steep it is, that he won't climb. There's no ocean, no matter how deep it is, that he won't swim. There's no hurdle, no matter how high it is, that he won't jump. There's no obstacle, I don't care how difficult it is, that he won't overcome to have you to be the woman on his arm. I demonstrated every bit of that mm-hmm. with every woman I've ever been with. Because that's the process that God would have all of us to follow, because there's 9 steps. And all of you ladies need to know those 9 steps. And so if you're interested in learning those 9 steps, you need to do the course. And the website is the Women's Empowerment HQ.org. That's the website. All right. You can go there, or you can send me an email, the Women's Empowerment HQ@gmail.com, and say, I'd like to get more information, and I can forward you the link. If you can't write it down, whatever, I can get this information to you. But here's what I want you to know. For the women, and I hadn't even thought about this, but I have a graphic that I put up of the women that I've worked with. And it's about 7 women. And now 6 of them are married. Mm-hmm. I just performed the wedding 2 weeks ago of one of my clients.
Oh, that's awesome.
Okay, I just performed a wedding 2 weeks ago. And her husband has no clue of the role that I played. All right. He has no idea of the role that I played and the stuff that I taught her that she utilized to perfection and restored the relationship after like an 8 year, after like an eight
Hmm.
year absence after they broke up. She had
Wow.
no clue.
Hmm. Okay. So as we start to kind of wrap this up, I just have a couple questions that I want to ask you, just very pointedly. Um, what are some behaviors that women commonly interpret as signs that a man is serious, but that may actually not mean that commitment to him? He does it, easily, but she thinks, oh, that means, you know, that he's serious about me. And I can give one, and then you can jump from there. He takes you to meet his family,
Mm-hmm.
like go to a cookout, a potluck, or whatever, and you think, oh, I've met the family. That means,
Yeah,
but then he's taken five other women
right.
to various events as well. He
And
just
not married either any of them either.
right.
Yeah, yeah. That and that is a that's a very good one. Or you he takes you to church with him,
Hmm.
right? Taking you to events.
That's a good
Um,
Christian for
yeah.
sure.
So yes, there are things like that that are misinterpreted. Um, and and what I'm going to say to all single women is what's coming out of his mouth must be matched by what he's doing with his actions and behaviors.
Yeah.
Okay? Um, he must demonstrate to you within within a certain amount of time that okay, I like you, and I want to spend time with you, and I want to spend time with you exclusively. So I'm taking myself off the market.
Hmm.
Okay.
Okay.
If if
Good.
you're saying
Good.
now, it's okay in the beginning of the relationship. You say, okay, look, we're just meeting. I want you to know that I'm talking to this other person. Okay, that's fine. That's fine. That's fine. But 3 months in, 6 months in, 9 months in, a year in, and you're still seeing each other, he still wants to see other people, you got a problem.
Yeah.
Homeboy's not serious. You got a problem.
That's a
Uh,
good one.
yeah,
That's really good. Because
because
people really think that it takes that long, and every healthy man that I've ever talked to or listened to on podcasts or whatever, they all say it doesn't take us that long. We know very quickly. We may not tell you immediately as we know, but we know. And so if it's taking him months and months and months and months and months, it
and
certainly
years,
has been
in some
taking
cases,
years.
years.
Years. Yeah,
No,
he just
stop,
not that into you.
stop wasting, stop wasting your time.
Yeah.
Um, when you're when you are old enough and mature enough and have been through a certain amount of relationships, a man knows what he wants and needs. He knows what turns him on. He knows what turns him off. Okay,
Mhm.
and so and because of that, early on, early in the relationship, he knows if you're the one or not. I met Perla I started talking to Perla in May. In July, I said to her, when we get to the altar, she said, whoa, 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 whoa. What are you talking about, altar? I said, so I would say to her, look, when you get to where I am emotionally, I'll be way down the road.
Mhm.
Because 2 months in, I knew.
Mhm.
And my behavior and my language were married.
Mm.
What I was saying was matched by how I was behaving.
Yes. Yeah.
If
That's
they're not
good.
married, he's not serious. If
No.
they're
Okay.
not consistent, he's not serious. Because when he views you as the one that he would like to spend the rest of his life with, he's got to
Hmm.
demonstrate that. If he's not demonstrating it, he's not serious.
Okay. No, that's good. I have two more questions. I was just gonna have one, but I, I just thought of something just based on what you said. So, are there times when a man is genuinely in love with you, but something else is slowing him down from making that commitment? So it's not even about you. It might be he doesn't think his finances are right, or he's got some other stuff he's trying to work. Like, and if that is the case, how do you then, and this might actually be a combination of the other question I was going to ask, how do you then basically nail him down to say, how do you have that conversation about what is your intention without trying to make an ultimatum or, manipulate somebody? How do you, how is, I know that's a long answer, but like, how can you have a conversation with someone to say, hey, bro, is we is or is we ain't? you know?
Sometimes, and I'm gonna have another response, but sometimes you got to say, "Hey, bro, is we is or is we not?" Okay, but that's not where I want to start. But sometimes you got to end up there. You have to
Yeah,
for yourself.
yeah,
Okay,
yeah, that's true.
because of this. There's many a guy, good guys, who have had their hearts broken, absolutely in love, wanted to go down the aisle, or maybe even did go down the aisle, and
Mhm.
the wife wasn't nearly on the same level with him in terms of a really awesome individual, cheated on him, broke his heart, whole 9 yards, and now homeboy is fragile, and he meets you.
Mm,
He's bringing that baggage with him.
yeah.
No ifs, no ands, no buts. He's bringing that baggage with him. And so sometimes you will need, you will definitely need to have a conversation. Okay. He needs to express his fragility because of that prior situation. Look, I love you, but I'm scared of having my heart broken again because she said all the right thing. And sometimes it's more than one woman that
Hmm.
he's had his heart broken by, right? And he meets you, and it's been a recurring pattern, and he doesn't understand why. He's a good guy, loving guy, faithful, dedicated, committed, had his heart ripped out of it, had his heart ripped out of his chest. Skittish. Okay? For that guy, you got to be patient. You got to have
Mm,
a conversation, and you have to let him know that, okay, look, I get it. All these women said the same thing I'm about to say to you. I love you. I'm never going to violate this relationship. I'm never going
mhm.
to cheat on you. And you have to consistently remind him and share that with him. But at
Yeah,
some point, you got to cut. You got to draw a line,
yeah,
because because when 1 year turns into two, and 2 years turns into three, which in my estimation, if you're past 2 years and you've not made the step, you're still
yeah.
dating, you're not even engaged, then you're headed for Heartbreak Ridge.
Hmm.
Okay, at some point you're gonna have to draw a line. You say, look, you may have to say, look, I get it, but you I have taken myself off the market and I am committed to you. I can't be here anymore. When you change and you're ready to go to the next level, Call me. If I'm still available,
Right.
then maybe we can continue this. But right now, I gotta step out because I
Mm-hmm.
can't stay here. It's too painful for me. Okay. So the times you have to protect yourself. You
Yeah.
can't be there forever.
No, I love it. I love it. Do you have any final thoughts before we close here?
Let me explain. I'll be with you in a minute. Let me explain why I do what I do. Um, about 70 years ago, boomer mothers, my generation of mothers, stopped doing something that had been done since biblical times. That is, passing knowledge down from mother to daughter, from mother to daughter, from mother to daughter, from mother to daughter, from mother to daughter. Somehow that 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 process was broken with my generation of mothers. Maybe because my generation of mothers for the first time went into the workforce and left the
Mm-hmm.
homes, right? And
Right.
started working outside of the homes. And so they stopped teaching their daughters how to be, how to pass, and they stopped passing down the knowledge of to their daughters of how to be in a relationship with a man and get what they need in that relationship to be happy, what to do and what not to do. They stopped passing down that knowledge. Consequently, you have young ladies going from their teenage years into their 20s, and now they're in the dating game, and nobody's taught them
Mm-hmm.
what to do and what not to do. How? Because a woman is going to make her man happy. It's all she knows.
Yeah.
Is what she is going to do. She's going to give and sacrifice and please and love and give and sacrifice and please and love till the cows come home. It's all she knows. It's all you know. That is not the case with us. And
Mm-hmm.
we are not, most of us are not going to reciprocate to you what you give to us because women are better than men. It is in my estimation, it is a fact of life. Okay. You're not going to get back from us what you give to us. So you need to learn how to get your man to love you the way you want to be loved on your terms and not his. There's an art to it, and most of you don't know it, and that's what I teach. And so the women who come into my program, the majority of them, they roll up their sleeves and they master it. When they meet a guy, it's like taking candy from a baby. Because I've taught you skills that none of your other girlfriends know.
Mm-hmm.
That's
And
you need.
both people are happy.
Yeah. Oh,
This
absolutely.
is not a manipulation.
Nope. No.
This is a call for both of us to stand in the roles that God originally intended because he knows how he built us for us to be one and have a happy, healthy relationship. Whew, thank you so much, Pastor Legette. As always, this has been a pleasure.
This was good. This may have been the best one, Lorraine.
We get better and better. We get better
Yeah,
and better. I love this one because you were preaching over there.
I
You just
was.
got happy in that
I think
thing.
it's because I'm retiring August 1st, so I got to get in where I fit in. You know what I'm saying?
Only 3 more sermons to go officially. So
No, I only have 2. I have this Sabbath and then because I'm out of town, and this Sabbath and August 1st, and that's it. I'm out.
Wow.
That's for my
Okay.
church. Now I do have other speaking engagements,
Of course.
but at my church, I only have 2 more.
Yeah. Well, thank you. We loved it. Thank you all who are watching, who joined us for this conversation. Tonight we've talked about the difference between agape and agapeo.
Agapao.
Apao. We gotta attend to that. Attention and intention. Why chemistry, consistency, and time spent together do not always equal commitment. The goal is not to overanalyze every interaction, but to recognize patterns, ask clear questions, and stop allowing hope to replace clarity. Be sure to like, subscribe, and share this episode with someone who needs this message, and comment. We'll be in the chat. I'll be in the chat tonight with you live. So let me know what you're thinking as this unfolds. Friends, sisters, you don't need another relationship rescue. You need to apply wisdom that will keep you from falling in the first place. So, until next time, make choices that will help you live, love, and marry wiser. God bless.